Don't use the excuse that you don't have a kiln. Air-dried clay is inexpensive and you already have tools. A cocktail stick, the ends of paintbrushes, a blunt pencil, they all make a variety of marks. Press a piece of clay with your hands. Find different ways to move the tool in the clay. Short directional movements make petals. These can go in any direction. Or dot the clay close together in a line. This wiggly line is the basis for my brain coral texture, but you could make any pattern. You could even use it to write a word. I often go back over these textures to tidy them up. You'll probably find a few sizes amongst your paintbrushes, knitting needles, etc. One of the easiest patterns is simple dots. Or you could make little circles. Space them out or join them together. Pressing the tool in and moving it in little circles creates craters with raised edges. The thicker the clay, the deeper you can make the craters. A smaller tool makes the same marks and can be used to add detail to the larger marks. You could add another petal with an even smaller paintbrush end. How about concentric circles? Or a triangle, square, oval, heart to start. You can make one on its own or join some together. Maybe some petals around the edge. Again, different sizes will give a different look. Give yourself a chance to play. See how many textures you can make with a single tool. If you don't like a texture, you can squash it and start again. Rows of lines are a quick way to fill a space. Or you could drag the tool through the clay. You can add more detail with smaller tools. There are infinite patterns and textures. Similar to the craters, you can make little circles with a raised edge and centre. The centre of a flower, perhaps. Or lichen, seaweed or coral. Sorry, off the edge of the screen. You can see what I'm doing a bit better now. Everyone has one of these in the house. A pencil can make some interesting textures too. Wiggling it around in small circles makes sharp conical indentations. Pressing it on its side makes a different petal shape. Short, sharp drag marks can be used directionally. I'm leaning the pencil at a sharper angle here. This pencil has rubber on the end, which makes a different shape dips to the paintbrush. The circles are more obvious if you dot along a line. Useful for fish or lizard scales maybe. You can always add more detail. More is more. A pencil makes a great pitted texture. The pressure you use will change the size of the pits. This is a good background texture. Smaller dots closer together. Paper underneath stops the clay from sticking. It also makes the piece easier to move around. I like to combine tools and textures. Adding details with smaller tools. A crater within a crater. For really fine detail, you can use a cocktail stick. Cutting lines along the outside of a texture. Or the inside of a texture. Making marks directionally to give it movement. I always finish with the smallest tools. This gives a crisp look. I like using this coral-like texture in my work. Around the inside edge of the circles also give a coral-like texture. I often use this pitted sponge-like texture to finish my work. I often leave it white. It can be time consuming, but it's also relaxing. This piece is just a sampler of textures. I find it easier to work spontaneously, but there's nothing wrong with planning out patterns in different areas of texture. It's easy to keep adding more details. There's a different look here, depending on if the lines are on the edges or meet in the middle. Don't be afraid to make a piece just for practice. Your piece is finished when you want, but I'm a bit of a maximalist, so I keep adding details. This is a great mindfulness exercise. There's the added bonus of an artwork at the end. You can leave the dry clay white, but there are many paints and other media you can finish your piece with. The simplest is to brush a metallic acrylic or gilding wax over the tops of the texture. There are a number of things that you could do with a finished piece. Such as framing it or making a smaller piece cut with a shaped cookie cutter for a hanging decoration. You can use a straw to cut out a neat hole. You could make a mirror or a picture frame. How about cutting out individual letters for a personalised door sign? These textures were all made with 4 simple tools. See what you can find in the kitchen or toolbox. You could combine these textures with wooden or rubber stamps if you have them. Let your creativity flow and don't forget to enjoy the process.